Well, the government will pump $4 billion into overhauling the dental health system, promising subsidised dental care to millions of children and low-income earners. But it's dodging questions about how the new scheme will be paid for, just as there are mounting questions about the government's budget position. Political correspondent Tom Iggulden has more from Canberra.
The government says it's fixing one of the great iniquities of a public health system that treats doctors and dentists very differently.
Essentially, parents will be able to go to the dentist, to take their Medicare card with them and see a dentist as easily as that they would see their GP.
The government's honoured its commitment to the Greens. It's a great day for the health of Australians right across the country.
The scheme will start in January 2014 and will be means tested, but even so, this is an expensive policy announcement.
It's a $4.1 billion dental health package to care for the teeth of our kids and for low-income Australians.
It's the third announcement this year in the billions. In May, the government committed $1 billion to start the National Disability Insurance Scheme. More billions would be needed to keep it running after the start-up phase. And in February, the Gonski Review of Education recommended $5 billion be pumped into schools. The government's still deciding how much it will spend, but has promised increases for every school. And there are questions about the potential cost of yesterday's announcement linking Australia with Europe's carbon trading scheme in 2015. Little wonder the government's being asked whether today's announcement is a toothache the federal budget doesn't need.
And it'll all be accounted for in the mid-year economic forecast.
Well, those matters will all be accounted for in our mid-year budget update.
The Prime Minister, who got the royal treatment upon her arrival at the Pacific Islands Forum in the Cook Islands today, also waved away questions about the scheme's cost.
Well, the announcement today is about a large saving, that is through the closure of a scheme designed by the former government.
The government is closing down a program designed by Tony Abbott when he was Health Minister. But even with the scheme's abolition, the Health Minister confirmed the $4 billion price tag for the government's plans.
This is new money that we will have to find, and we will have to find savings to pay for this scheme, just as we have had to find savings to pay for all of our investments. But Australia has a strong economy by international standards.
Perhaps so, but the warnings from economists are growing louder.
China's slowdown has eaten into coal and iron ore prices. Those things mean big bucks for the budget.
Are you able to tell us how many bucks for the budget?
Look, even just yesterday, the iron ore price went down 5%. That of itself, if it's maintained, could mean up to $1 billion out of the budget this year and almost $2 billion next year.
Prices are down in terms of the spot market, but people shouldn't be making instantaneous conclusions about the outcome.
The Treasurer is sticking to one of the government's key economic promises.
We're on track to reach surplus on time, as promised.
Right now it's a deficit, and maybe even a comfortable deficit.
The opposition made the most of today's dental plan announcement.
The Gillard government has plainly given up on any attempt to get the budget back into surplus. We are seeing the Gillard government spending like the proverbial drunken sailor.
But Chris Richardson says the coalition's no more responsible than the government when it comes to money.
With the opposition, they've said no to some taxes, but yes to some of the things that those taxes pay for.
He's urging everyone in Canberra to heed the warnings this month from the Treasury Secretary Martin Parkinson and his predecessor Ken Henry that the tax base can no longer support extravagant spending promises.
On both sides, we have numbers that aren't adding up. Both sides are still reacting to the old days almost, when China was a river of gold for Canberra and you could make a lot of promises. Those days, they're gone.
Music may have stopped, but the budgetary dance goes on. Tom Iggulden, Lateline.